Ahoy, hoy, friends, and welcome to the Salon. If my voice sounds familiar, it's because we too do not have a budget for real voice actors. But at least my eyes are not the color of my face. Tonight, we will discuss Star Trek, the animated series, and I will speak at this cadence to fill time because it is hard to fill time. Dun dun dun! Let's bring in our panel. The queen of disgusted looks, Will. How are you?
What the fuck are you doing? I'm good. I don't know what this is. You're apparently not. This is a good bit. I'm proud of you. This was good. I enjoyed
you.
this.
I was gonna do the whole thing, and then your face just got me. Welcome, welcome.
Hi.
Queen of Louisiana and soon to be co-queen of Tennessee, hopefully, fingers crossed. Krista, how are you?
I'm so lonely.
I realized you said co-queen. I heard coke queen, so I was like, oh, Chris has got a new business venture.
That's private.
Yeah. Nothing's off the table.
We don't talk about that.
No.
Save it for the Patreon. Yeah.
We don't talk about that.
Speaking of aggressive drugs, everyone's favorite tosser, Ken, how are you, my friend?
I am in utter shock and disbelief about how we have started this already.
Oh.
But okay. Hello, everyone. Live from the 70s.
Yes.
Or animated from the 70s. I mean, here we are.
And speaking of the 70s with tech issues galore, Trevor, my favorite co-host, in fact, my only co-host. How are you, my friend?
I'm just glad that was not like me pouring from the wrong bottle, because there was a split second. I was having a moment.
Yeah. Well, quick alert for our friends. We did have a slight delay, and just a heads up, Trevor's tech issues may persist. We'll just roll with it. Y'all, we're talking about the animated series. 3 voice actors, $50 an episode. Not that bad. But super fun. I am really excited to talk about it. There's a lot of fun stuff here. I'm going to be silly the entire night because it is silly. It's fucking ridiculous. But I really did enjoy it in a lot of places. Not all the places, but we're going to get into it. Now, listen, before we can get into this, we always must set an intention. Set an intention.
Was that glitchy for everyone else, or did it just like?
I can't tell if it's glitchy or if it's Stan's attempt at.
And for the,
I was worried if it was me. Or...
That is a solid attempt at that bitch's voice.
Yes, it is. You're right.
It worked. It worked.
Yeah, it worked.
I didn't know if the glitch was me or if it was just like on brand with TAS. I wasn't sure.
It fits the theme for sure. Trevor, help us set an intention.
I would love to. So, in honor of the animated series, I thought it would be really fun if we went around the room and discussed what live action series would you most like to see get an additional season, but in animated format. As always, I will start us off. And I'm going to go a little out of the box and hopefully not steal anyone's answer, but also not give the obvious answer, which is I'm going to say short treks. Not very short treks, but short treks. I think it was a fun way to explore stories and backstories that we didn't get to see before. It also allows us to do that without rebuilding entire sets just for a 15-minute story. So that's my answer, and I'm sticking to it. Let us start with our dear tosser friend, Ken. Ken, my love.
So again, when you say series, I don't immediately think of Star Trek series. I think of just series. So my first thought was
Ken, have you seen this show before?
Bewitched. Yeah.
Do you know what we do here?
Bewitched. No, I don't. When you said series, I'm like, we know Gilligan's Island did go animated, but
hang on a second. I just want to explore this for a second. You are on a Star Trek podcast
in a Star Trek outfit.
Yes.
And we do Star Trek icebreakers that we, in case you haven't heard, call setting an intention. Based on the episode in which we find our name.
Yeah, you got it.
No one send Ken the manual? Did nobody send Ken?
I'm learning so much from what you're saying, Stan.
So you saw in the DM for your Star Trek podcast, hey, here's the icebreaker for today, and you thought anything but Star Trek.
But you went Bewitched.
I went Bewitched, which has ties to Star Trek. But anyway. All right, so if we're going to talk about Star Trek,
no, that's over.
If we want to have another season,
this is now a Bewitched podcast.
Another season beyond what we've already been promised in animated, I would say Lower Decks. Wait, does that count? So,
sure.
You know what? Yeah. It does now. Just because I can't do this anymore. Thank you, Ken.
Because I have to talk like this the entire time to be like the animated series, so that we don't have to animate my mouth. All right, so go ahead.
Like collecting cargo.
Thank you, Ken. That was a great answer. No matter what anyone else says. Moving on. Will, since there are no fucking rules, what's your answer?
Gonna give another random show. I'm like, Mr. Belvedere. No, I would say Enterprise. I think Enterprise deserved another season, but I would also say Enterprise, but it would be interesting to see like another animated series set somewhere else, like a different time period. But no, I think Enterprise is the one that honestly deserves it.
Awesome. Thank you.
And they had a bunch of episodes written, so why not?
Thank you for following the original instructions.
But also, Mr. Belvedere deserves a season.
You're not wrong.
Animated. Webster.
Didn't it end on it ended on a cliffhanger, didn't it? No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, Webster. Or Alf. We need another season of Alf. Give me an animated version of Alf. That ends on the cliffhanger too.
Golden Girls. Give me
that.
Golden Girls.
Yeah, yes. But set it today for no reason.
Right.
They're all 100.
Sophia was at the Capitol on January 6th.
Jesus. By mistake.
On accident. On accident. Yeah, on accident.
1954.
Yeah, she was there for a tour.
Yeah. Her and Rose. Can you imagine? Like that one picture of that old lady with the flag that's like, but it's Betty White. Anyway, sorry. Moving on.
They went for a tour and it was a riot. Krista Love.
Oh God, I love this.
Okay, so
already.
If I'm answering in Ken's mind, I'm gonna say Game of Thrones. If I'm answering for the show, honest to God, I don't want any additional shows to be done animated that are based on shows that already exist now. Because for me, specific to this was like they used the actors for the voice work, and for me, I want them to use the same actors for the voice work. And I have a real animosity towards AI right now. I think it's enslavement and dehumanizing, and I don't want anything that takes away from what the actor's contribution is. So I don't want any additional animated unless it's completely on its own, like Prodigy. There's some actors we're familiar with, but the core group they're individual on their own. They're not related to any other show. So that's kind of a downer answer. So we'll go back to Game of Thrones.
It's not. I actually enjoyed it, and it was very topical.
Yeah, I love that. we have a wide spectrum here of off the rails and then like anti-AI manifesto. I love it.
You're welcome.
The chaos is what reigns. And so going the Ken route, I'm going to say that the Designing Women spinoff, Congresswoman Sugar Baker, deserves an animated season.
Yes. Dixie Carter.
Yes, bring that back. But also on the Star Trek front, I was gonna say the same as Will. I think Enterprise getting that 5th season, the Romulan War, more of how the Federation forms would be really cool, and doing it in an animated fashion could keep the timeline intact. But I also agree with everybody else. It would be interesting to see another animated show go the route of the animated series of either continuing on of another series or just something new. I think Krista's got a great idea there, and so let's pitch it to Alex and make it happen. Excellent intention setter as always. We've got some fun answers in the chat. I know Joanne, hope you're feeling better. Thanks for being in the chat. Discovery, yes, would also be a wonderful addition to the canon through animation. Norman, Excelsior, the series, would be super fun. Deep Space Nine, I saw somebody talking about Deep Space Nine with an animated Garrick would be super fun. All kinds of hilarity would ensue. All right, y'all. We got to get into it. Our top thoughts. Star Trek, the animated series. I'm not going to do the voice much, but when it pops in, it's always a fun time. Anyway, I'm going to kick off top thoughts on the animated series. This was, I will admit, a slog to get through. Those 22 to 24 minute episodes last. Like I felt high sometimes. Like when I get high, time ceases to exist, and I felt that way watching some of these. But I promise I'm not going to be negative Nancy about these. I do think the show, like all Star Trek, it's a product of its time. I think they are the victim of a clearly extremely low budget. The voice actors were the actors themselves for their characters, great, but making them do other characters when they were not voice actors themselves, a little silly. And I will say there are a lot of cringy moments for a lot of different things, sound effects being used for multiple purposes. The animation itself, while fun in some ways, like really, really ridiculous. That Birdman is like, I will scout ahead. He said that 6 times in that episode, and the exact same still of him flying away. Budget. It's budget. But last negative, there are also some overtly problematic things in many of these episodes. The original series, which I do respect, had a lot of issues itself, even though it was progressive for its time. The animated series had some very sketchy, I'll say speciest, if not racist, tropes, and a whole lot of sexism baked into it, just like the 60s and 70s did. That said, there are a lot of really fun stories here. I think the core stories of a lot of these episodes are actually really solid. If they had the budget, maybe another pass at the script, because there's a lot of telling us, not showing us in most of these episodes. Like most of these episodes are a lot of exposition, which is fine. Lots of fun, but and more voice actors. I think varying that, because it took me out when I'm like, that's Majel. Like I love her, but like that's Nurse Chapel, Maress, and a random high chancellor or whatever my title is. I actually don't know if this one was Majel, but it almost sounded like her. And it also kind of sounded like those alien. Now that I'm doing it, it sounds like the aliens. Who's his face was doing in Galaxy Quest. As big as this. Yeah,
Yeah.
those are my top thoughts. Krista, let's hear it.
I completely agree with you. It's a real slog, and I probably missed 5 episodes because I unfortunately fell asleep. But I will say that the thing that helped me is and I had to dig deep for this, but it was helpful to remember that it was in the 70s. And if nothing but for the exercise of looking at what was presented in the course of normal television viewing in the 70s and comparing it to what we have now, if we're just going to compare TAS and Prodigy, it is useful to and informative to watch it, to see how much we have grown, but also how very little we have moved the needle on certain things: bigotry, xenophobia, sexism. There are things that haven't changed, and I think once I just sort of accepted that it was an example of its time and not superimpose my 2024 evolution to it, it was a lot easier to watch. That said, I would like for every city to have orbital parking, which struck me as an interesting concept, as though it's just a spot somewhere in space where they stay stationary. And I loved the reference. There are certain references that I just adored. And one was Rec Room, because that is a very 70s when I was growing up. Another word for it is Rumpus Room. And this is what I grew up with. So there were like little things in it that I was kind of like, oh, that's so adorable. And it made me smile. There were things that were funny that weren't intended to be funny. And I can do without, in its entirety, the ship going across the screen for a full 5 minutes with absolutely nothing fucking happening. And maybe that's
and yet everything happening. It would look the same if it was at warp, if they were doing evasive maneuvers, if they were getting ready to go into the fireworks display nebula, or the fireworks display gaseous cloud, or the fireworks display the atmosphere, or the spiral.
The glowing halo around them, which was like just all the aliens all looked exactly the same. On the clone planet, he immediately identifies the one clone guy. I'm like, they're fucking clones. How do you distinguish? How are you distinguishing one clone from another? Shit did not make sense.
Vulcan magic.
I don't want to be negative about this. I don't want to just nitpick.
I will slightly push back on they all look the same. Yes, and there were plenty of like being animated. I meant to mention this during my my thoughts, so I'm usurping your time. Sorry, but there were a lot of varied alien cultures. More so, like, how do I put this? There weren't enough because like a lot of them looked very similar, but at the same time, for the animated series, they gave us Birdman, something that they would not have been able to do practically in the original series. So
yeah, but even if you look at Birdman in this series and the dude that was hanging with Chakotay in Prodigy, there's a significant difference, and this is progress, is what I'm saying. Anyway, next.
William.
Yeah, this was a slog, much more than season 1 of TNG, which I felt was like the hardest thing for us to get through for a thumb warp. But like it's definitely a product of its time, like 73, 74, I think is when this came out. So it definitely like it feels the ravages of time for sure. But there are some nice moments. Like the animation is so cheap that it almost verges on the avant-garde. Like it's like it's so close to being like the close-ups, like the crazy close-ups. That's something you don't see a lot in animation. Like I don't know. It was tough to get through. Sometimes the episodes kind of blended together into one long episode, and you could tell that they were get that shit off the fucking screen. What are you doing? What is happening?
He was trying
Oh,
to make us watch Krista Pour, and instead we got a close up.
Oh,
of
and then but
scary
now
yellow
he
eyes.
kicked himself out. Great.
Yeah.
That'll be fun. See how this resolves.
I was
there it is.
trying to. You said the weird close up. I was trying to give an example.
Oh, got it. Well, it's like I can't even do it with the camera. It's just like anyway. It's interesting that it's like it's a lot of the original writers came back for this, and you can tell that they had ideas that they had to like chop down to a 20-minute format. So there's a lot of weird exposition, and then the episode's suddenly over. So it's like there's 15 pages of exposition about nothing, and then five pages of blurry animation and cat people and tentacles, and it's over. So it's fun. I like to see where we've definitely gone further. There's an evolution. The animated stuff we're receiving now definitely would not be a reality if it wasn't for this. But on the whole, I could not see myself revisiting this ever again. So sorry, Ken.
You're not gonna like my
There's
plan
maybe
for January 2025.
sorry, no, not happening. There's only really 1 or 2 episodes I would probably revisit, but the rest of it is a hard boot. Anyway, Ken.
Yes, Ken famously hates this era of Trek. What were your
Yeah, I
thoughts?
certainly do. So in 1973, Star Trek was coming back to TV, and people were super excited. And I was one of them as a little kid. I was 5 years old. And I was also super excited. Yeah, picture it, 1973. I was really excited because I was able to watch this show lying there on the shag carpet in my PJs, eating my cereal, and my father was sitting on the couch. My father, a big Star Trek fan, and it was a huge bonding moment. Here we saw Star Trek was back, and it was huge. For me, it was like, here we have new Star Trek, and it was a big, big deal, especially considering all the other stuff that was on Saturday morning, which couldn't compare to the quality of these episodes. This was an adult, so to speak, cartoon in a world of Hong Kong Phooey and far out space nuts, right? So it was really strange, but it was really, really good. Also, this show set stuff up that has lasted throughout the remainder of Star Trek forever. For example, this is the first time you saw 2 turbolifts on the bridge, and forevermore, there were 2 turbolifts on the bridge. Through the movies, through everything. This was the first time you saw any semblance of a holodeck. This was the first time you saw aliens like Lieutenant Arex and Maress, and you saw that those characters became fixtures in Star Trek. This is the first time you heard Kirk's middle name, Tiberius, and you wouldn't hear it again until Star Trek VI, but it became canon. So there was so much that happened here with the animated series. And you saw the return of many of the writers, as Will was alluding to, and the original series guest stars and characters that they played. So Harry Mudd is back, Cyrano Jones is back, Sarek is back. It's just was really, really cool to what they tried to do in these 23 or so episodes, and I loved every second of it. Yes, it's a cartoon that was done in the 70s, and clearly you can see that now, but at the time it was just phenomenal to finally take a step towards bringing Star Trek back. And then just a handful of years later, we had Star Trek the Motion Picture.
And to
That's
hell
me.
with that Russian Chekhov.
Yes, well, Walter Koenig did write an episode, and yes, Chekhov should not have been skipped. I agree. There's flaws in in the series. Don't get me wrong, but there's just amazing things about this series too that carry through the rest of the franchise. That's my top thoughts.
Love it. Trevor?
After hearing everyone's top thoughts, I'm now questioning the fond memories of my childhood that that surround this series. No, I was not yet alive for the original run, but I did watch this when it was on. I was born in '76. But I was alive to watch it on cable. Nickelodeon decided to play the animated series in I think like 82, 83, which was around the time that I had first seen the original series, and so started watching the animated series as well. It was sort of my memories of them blur because I was literally watching them at the same time, which is both awesome and disturbing all at the same time. There are similarities in the storytelling, I think, with which is why it feels like 22 minutes is sometimes really long. They're still telling the same type of story. There's just as much not happening. There's just as much. It's just cut in half. So the story doesn't move faster. It's just a shorter story. That said, I really enjoyed as a kid, and then on this rewatch, really enjoyed their ability to be creative and do things they couldn't do in the original series that they never would have been able to do. I enjoyed, as Ken mentioned, the addition of characters that we would never have seen in the original series. I appreciate Joanne reminding us that in the comments that there were folks that were trying to stop TAS from happening, which there were folks trying to stop Next Gen. There were folks that were opposed to DS. Like, every iteration has its haters. They just didn't necessarily take form in the same fashion before the internet. Now they just get to be more visible and louder. So it's nice to know that there have always been pains in the ass when it comes to fandom, and that's nothing new. But overall, I enjoyed the series as a whole, even if the individual components are a struggle, and those individual components are the episodes that we're now going to rip to shreds. And yeah, some of them are tough, and we rip them to shreds with love.
Love it. I'm excited. Lots of there, like I said, there are lots of fun things in the animated series. One I haven't heard it mentioned yet. Various kinds of shuttlecraft, including some submersibles, which was really cool to see. I would love to see more of that in Trek. Uh, it's kind of funny that even though it's animated, well, no, I understand for budget reasons, similar to the original series having a transporter instead of shuttles. Here they are like, let's just draw a yellow line around them and call it the life support belt. Cool, love it. I understand them deciding that this would not be canon as a whole, but Will's favorite bit, head canon. I could see them being like, well, we experimented with these belts and killed a bunch of people. Whoops. Speaking of killing a bunch of people, let's get into our thumb war. Queen of segues. That's what I am. Trevor. Oh wait,
I'd like to
real
remind.
quick. Yeah. Oh, good. Yeah.
Okay. So I would like to take
Reminder of
this
what a thumb
opportunity
war is.
to remind everyone. Well,
Let's
we
just
will
keep
go.
talking over each other. I think that's
That'd be
what
great.
works best
Let's
in
do
the
that. It's a
podcast.
great bit. We should keep it.
Yeah. So what
Anyway,
we're doing here is a thumb up or a thumb down.
We're going to lose Will in a second. Yes, we will go episode by episode, rate them thumb up, thumbs up, thumbs down, or thumbs sideways, depending on how much we loved it, hated it, or hated it with love. I will read the episode description provided by the Google. And just as a reminder, I did not write the episode descriptions, nor do I necessarily support these episode descriptions. They are famously tragic and horrible and vague, and that's what makes this fun. So no feedback for the person reading. Thank you. Episode 1 of season 1, Beyond the Farthest Star. After being pulled into orbit around a dead star, the USS Enterprise comes across a huge deserted starship inhabited by a parasitic life form. That actually wasn't horrible, that description. Saloners, have at it.
I will kick us off. We don't need to deep dive into every episode, but on this one, I did have some thoughts. This was a great kind of pilot up until the end. It's wonky. There's some silliness. We're being pulled in, but just kidding. We veer away, and it just work. Like shit just kind of works, and there's a lot of showing or a lot of telling instead of showing. But I was still fine with it, having fun with it. Here's a cool new ship. Here's a mystery. And then we discover, oh, it's an alien entity that they have to trick off of the ship. And then they just leave it. I'm like, I was so close to being able to thumbs up this episode. And then they forget that they're Starfleet officers. And they're like, well, fuck this alien of the week. Bye.
So you're a thumbs
They had to
down.
wrap it up.
I did a thumbs up for this, just for this phrase: latent primal superstition. I was like, that is
New drag name.
that's fucking awesome. Latent primal superstition and fear of primitive people. And I was like, I saw that presidential debate. I saw that shit. Definitely thumbs up for me on this one. Absolutely. We have
Other
not
thoughts
changed
on
at all as a race. We have not evolved at all.
yes. Other thoughts on the pilot that this is.
I do have to call out appreciation for both DT and for Will for calling out the "Obey Me" line, because it is the beginning of what will be a noticeable trend throughout this series of it being animated yet oddly horny.
Yeah.
There is a lot of
so much.
I don't know if it's intentional. I don't know if it's not, but I was both here for it and confused by it.
It is funny that "Obey Me" line, when I heard it, it made me laugh, and it called me back to like Futurama, because there's a point where they make a joke where he goes, "Obey me!" Like there's like a couple of times where I've heard it in other like references, and it's funny that I think this might be like, I've heard a delivery like that, but now hearing it from this, I mean, like, I realized that they're probably making a reference to this because it was hysterical. So, yeah. Anyway.
I'm so lonely.
Oh, that was funny. Oh God. Yeah.
It was sad. It was a sad little ending.
It was sad.
I mean, they had, like I said, they probably wrote a 40-minute episode and went, well, we got to end this, and they're like, yeah, well, they just fly away.
Yeah,
you
just leave that bit.
Like, that you fell into the category of primitive people, right? You get that they oh, he was so sad. Fuck that guy. Fuck him.
Yeah, I suppose that's true. I will say though that the design of the insectoid ship was pretty awesome.
Yeah.
I think that was a very cool thing. Being able to explore the ship. The new bridge defense system was kind of interesting, and Kirk withstood it very well. But it was interesting to see the bridge defense system, which I don't think we've ever seen again.
Mm-hmm. Which there should be one, right? Like, why do we have to count on the bridge crew having the lasers pulled out in time?
Right.
It gave me attention Bajoran workers vibes, and
yeah.
A little,
yeah.
I will also give this one a thumbs up because it's a pilot. It introduces a lot of the concepts. It introduces RX. It introduces sort of the tone of, as we've said, good for better or for worse with the animated series, with the life support belts and everything else. But it was interesting to really explore this alien starship, which we've never really done, and sort of hints at what future would be an exploration of a Borg cube concept to some degree.
All right, let's see those thumbs.
All right.
I was
thumbs
convinced
up
to
is very
move up
first.
or down to a sideways. We'll take it. All right.
There you
let's
go.
So 2.
So to yesteryear. After a trip back in time to observe the history of the Orion civilization, Spock returns and discovers that he has been erased from the present. That makes no fucking sense. I'm here, but I've been erased. Like, it's accurate, but like that's a weird ass sentence to write. So, anywho.
Yeah, where's Matt to make sense of it?
Yeah, we need Matt. So
Was that the end of the description?
That was at the end of the description. Again, disclaimer, didn't write it.
I have only one problem with this episode. Why are Vulcan children in singlets? Why?
It's a problem. It's a problem, yeah.
It's weird.
The whole episode reminded me of that in Best in Show, that Jennifer Coolidge line where she was like, I'm just going to wait here for a message.
I'm just following my instincts. My instincts tell me to stand here and wait. Yeah.
They're saying, don't go right now.
Wait until I get a message from myself. So Spock goes back in time and deals with himself. And here's my problem. Here's my problem with this. This gets a big fucking thumbs down, because at the time, this thing on Paramount Plus says kids and then animated. That is the category that it falls in. And I was like, so you kill the fucking pet. The pet dies. There's no conversation about it. There's no any of this. And if this is a kid show, my issue was the blatant sort of xenophobia of the Vulcans. I mean, I couldn't handle it. I couldn't handle it. It took me like 6 episodes to figure out this wasn't for kids at all. Or kids I don't even want to fucking know. Who are these kids that say staphylococcus? No fucking kid says staphylococcus. They say cock. They say I vomit. They do not say I have intestinal distress.
Krista has some feedback for 70s animated producers.
Sorry.
Let's go back in time.
I've had a lot to drink.
So this episode was written by DC Fontana, who obviously is Star Trek royalty in a lot of ways.
Who?
I'm
kidding.
Fontana,
She's great.
Yep. And they did actually have some scenes where they talk about the death of the Salon, and how you have to let people, you have to let something go. If you love it, you have to let it go. They think they did have a couple of scenes between Spock and young Spock and Spock and the veterinarian.
He wasn't a veterinarian. He was some kind of wizard.
He was a wizard doctor. Yes.
In his defense, Vulcan veterinarians are actually part wizard. It's a thing. It doesn't.
Yeah.
Yes.
And Trevor, I just want to make sure you're tracking for the tallies. Ken only gets 3 actuallys this salon, and he just used his first one.
Got it.
Okay. So what's
Ken, it is so fun fucking with you. I'm sorry. I love you.
Well,
Yeah,
Ken, address the idea that humans are weak. Address the Amanda issue. I dare you.
So
nobody's going near that with a 10-foot pole, Krista.
I think that the situation there is, Sarek married Amanda not because he at all thought that she was weak. It is a xenophobic thing for Vulcans, which carries through to Star Trek 2009 in a big way. In fact, you see some of the elements of yesteryear, the design elements of yesteryear in Star Trek 2009. You see the remaster of Star Trek in Amok Time. You see the city, Shikar. You see that in the remaster of Amok Time. So there are elements here that carry into the Kelvin universe and back to the remaster of the original series. The other thing is that it was interesting to see the use of the Guardian of Forever, and sort of trying to continue that history. And I think
he has a name, Ken.
He does not have a name. No, he does not. I was going to say they do it much better than Discovery and
His name
Best
is
Night Program.
Carl.
His name is not Carl. So anyway, I think that this episode is very well done. I think that it's great to hear Mark Leonard back as Sarek. I think Leonard Nimoy does a great job with his voice acting in this and telling the story. And I think it really is a way to fill in some of the Vulcan and Spock family backstory that, again, resonates through the rest of the franchise. So this is a thumbs up for me.
Minus Michael Burnham, apparently.
Well, Michael Burnham doesn't exist.
Well,
At least not at this point in the history. So
Are we
I
just going
should
to
count that as 2, but we'll call it the same episode.
We're just going to let the Michael Burnham erasure land and not like
wow.
I'm choosing to ignore that ignoring of history. Let's see thumbs for this episode.
All right, we're all this so far. This shitty series is off to a great start. I'm kidding. It's not.
actually, there's nothing in Yesteryear that debunks that Michael Burnham exists.
That is correct.
We know.
So
We know that. We're
Maybe-
just trying to trigger you because it's fun.
yeah, it's fun.
All right, we got 20
I
more
love you
episodes to
guys.
get through. Let's go.
Yeah.
It's
move on.
revenge for that Bewitched bullshit. Episode 3. One of our planets is missing.
Thanks for all those arguments you lost.
Boo!
You have to,
This was terrible. Boo!
you have to say it just like that. You have to, one of our planets is missing. The Enterprise's crew. No, we're just going to say the Enterprise crew races to find a way to stop a giant cloud creature from destroying inhabited planets.
Can we just all assume the position? The mind meld position? It's
This,
like,
this is the one
what
that you
the
have to
fuck
believe
is
in
that?
magic.
when
I'm
did
the-
that?
But it wasn't a
Right.
mind meld. It was called a mind touch. It was a mind
I'm wearing the
touch.
right shirt.
Oh, right.
Ooh, mind touching.
And it
Oh.
requires that you sit in a chair with a wide stance.
Wait,
and-
let's
and
everybody
legs
do it for the
spread wide
screenshot.
stance
I wanna-
with your arms
Everybody
out.
do it. Everybody do it so that I can take a screenshot later. Mind touch. Okay, thank you.
Also,
That'll be a clip.
also a position he frequently finds himself in while entertaining Captain Kirk.
Thumb's getting touched.
Thumbs.
Push the button.
I gave a thumb
I earned
down.
that fucking button.
Fine.
Push that damn button.
Push the damn
Which
button.
one?
Problematic gay alert.
It was so
Thank you.
much.
I just want to say that this is a blatant ripoff remake of the Doomsday Machine, and it just doesn't work.
I worked hard for that button. Harder than
Just-
Hard
Nope.
for the button.
See,
We're trying to move
Thumbs.
along here, Ken.
I can't see your thumbs.
they're all
Thumbs up.
down.
Or they're all down. Okay, sweet.
Bad. It was a bad one.
That was easy. Okay, this next. Okay, I again not responsible for what I'm about to read.
We know,
Episode
girl.
4,
We know.
I know that it's backfired on me before, and I'm not in the mood. The episode
I'm
4,
gonna-
the Lorelei
no,
Signal.
no. Let's do this.
A
Let's do
race-
this. You just say it once all the way through, and I'm going to clip it and just be like, "Hey, look at what Trevor wrote."
I will drive to Los Angeles just to slap you. The Lorelei Signal. A race of beautiful women remains immortal by stealing the life force of men.
Could these people be any more white and blonde? Fuck.
No.
Yeah.
Oh.
I loved this episode only because of badass Uhura, and
the only
Let the women
redeeming
do the
quality.
work.
and she did
Yeah.
if you have a stun setting, she did what I feel like would cut 20 minutes off of almost every episode of Star Trek. Stun first, ask questions later. Like, we know this isn't going to hurt you, so shoot, and then time up, put him in the brig, problem solved.
It's the
Yeah.
only thing that saved this episode from a thumbs down was just trigger happy Uhura. That was the only
Yes.
thing that saved it. Otherwise, it's a boot. But like Just her, just like,
How's
no,
this?
girls, get the guns. We're shooting these hoes. Like that was, you
She
know,
takes command of the Enterprise. Come on, this is the big
You're
moment.
right.
As she should have.
That's the only thing
multiple
that saves
times
it from a
during the live
thumbs
action.
down.
Yeah.
Thumbs. The Lorelei thumbs.
Also, why did Nichelle Nichols do the voice of the computer? That makes no sense.
There are
Also,
a lot of
I wish it
voiceovers
was-
that don't make any sense.
I honestly wish it was that easy to just, as I flip my page for notes, I wish it was that easy to make men do what I want them to do.
I've seen less preparation for depositions. Krista is ready for this thumb war episode.
She has notes. She has thoughts.
It's intense. Okay,
Next
moving on.
Multifaceted, bitches.
I'm telling you, there's no
Fucking
end.
diamond.
There's no end. Episode 5. It's hard to say this the right way. More tribbles, more problems. Cyrano Jones resurfaces with new tribbles that can't multiply, and Klingons hot on his trail.
Boo, Klingon design. Boo.
I'm irritated by the Klingon design. I couldn't tell the Klingons from anybody else.
Why did they sound like that?
Yeah.
Why?
Because they're fans of Harry Potter.
It sounded like they found, like, everyone do your nerd voice for the Klingons. Like, it didn't make any sense. Also, fierce
I'm
warriors.
a warrior. You're going down.
Quick, put them in purple.
Talk
What
about
the
being
fuck?
horny. Jeez.
Let's destroy the Enterprise.
It's like that dude from Office Space. I want my stapler.
My stapler.
Today is a good day to die.
And then they took my batlet. And
He promised me my stapler.
Thumbs.
at the last party, I didn't get any blood pie.
I actually liked this episode.
I like this episode. Thumbs up. Welcome back.
I do like how like it seemed like they put all of the Klingon faggots on one ship. That was the only thing I liked about it. They're just like, put these gay nerds on a ship together.
I want to clip
Put them
that.
in purple.
Pretty sure it would get flagged on YouTube.
Yeah, whatever. I don't give a shit.
Bring it.
Yeah.
What would be the name of that Klingon ship, Will?
The Flagget.
No, it'd be like that would be it, yeah. Or it'd be like something like that.
That's
How
what
do
it
you
would be.
spell that?
The
It'd be like,
Flagget.
You
Lots
did
of-
the whole that's where the tentacles come from.
Lots of
Right.
apostrophes and hyphens and things. Yeah.
That would be it.
Episode 6.
Let's get to the
Episode-
Survivor.
Episode 6, The
So we can
Survivor.
talk about Anne, the fucking
The
cow
the
that
Enterprise
ruined
find.
everything.
Oh my God, stop it. The Enterprise finds missing trader and philanthropist Carter Winston.
In an
'Cause
ascot.
weren't we worried about Carter Winston? We were all concerned, right?
Oh my god. His former fiance and then like
Anne, you had one fucking job, Anne.
like bad with the phaser, but also this was the episode that really had the like something dramatic was said and you just see her face.
But you love
Oh no. Whatever will I do without this man in my life who hasn't been in my life for 5 years? Oh no.
And who probably isn't interested in men.
Can I be the person that guards him? Because there's a piece of him left. And I love him. Fucking twat.
Oh my! I have to say though,
Oh my God.
I
Oh,
love I love Ted Knight. Ted Knight was fantastic in this episode.
Okay, that's fine.
That's
Okay,
not an
I like-
actually.
I'll give you that.
I really liked his voice over. Obviously, he was very well known for Ted Baxter, the Mary Tyler Moore Show. But every time I watch this episode, I also hear "Meanwhile" at the Hall of Justice, which I think is.
I say that all the time. Meanwhile,
when he it's like saying verily, I say. They kept when he did his whole explanation to Anne about how he was sort of the ascot diamond pin wearing guy, but not really, and sort of a Vendorian, but not really. And he kept, I'm a non-producer. And immediately my head went to like Law and Order SUV. Is he a secretor? Is he a non-secretor? Like, is he impotent? What the fuck are they trying to say? What is the non-producing? What are you not producing?
How many actuallys do I get? Because I've never seen Law and Order SUV, but I have seen SVU.
SUV. Yeah.
Law and Order, like GMC Yukon.
Law and Order.
Fuck?
Sports utility
Law and
vehicle.
Order SUV.
This is an all-terrain vehicle.
And it secretes.
And it's been sexually assaulted.
And punishing those that prey on the innocent. And it's new. It's coming out on Paramount Plus. It's animated.
It'll be canceled after one season.
Yeah.
It's a new Taylor Hackford. Is it?
I do. Bringing us back to the episode. I did like the dramatic, like the showmanship of this changeling changing. It was like, I must change, ooh, squid, and then, ooh, I'm Captain Kirk now, and I'm.
That's not how y'all change.
Yes. Hang on, I need to change.
You know what is kind of interesting though is if you think 50 years ago, the Vendorian is like the most fearful thing. That is the most fearful thing they had the capacity to come up with. Somebody that's a skin changer that could make you do things that you wouldn't ordinarily do. 50 years later, we get the loom, which actually eliminates your existence altogether. Think about that for a minute. That's in 50 years, that's where we got. Just, you're still existing in 1973, but in 2024, you're fucking gone. You're history. There's no record of you at all. Think about it. AI.
Yep.
That's all I'm saying. AI.
Can I see thumbs, please?
There's that. I like Bones' comment. Jim's talking to a table. Thought that was good. And this also was the episode that introduced Joanna McCoy. I'm gonna give it thumbs up for Ted Knight.
And Anne wanted one of those tentacles. She wanted one of those tentacles right on that nub.
Mm-hmm.
That's what she wanted.
Oh, my
Who among
fiance
us hasn't
didn't have
one of those tentacles?
those.
There are 5 tentacles.
Yeah.
4
My
may be tired, but one's still working.
My fiance didn't have those. Perhaps I could go with you and
Perhaps.
help you become a producer.
Oh my god.
I could find a 5th hole.
Oh my god.
All of the buttons. All the buttons. just
Where we
happen.
need the buttons. Where is it? Where's the alerts?
They're all happening.
Problematic gay alert.
And
Slacker.
just for Anne. Just for Anne.
You thirsty bitch.
In the arms of the angel.
I am not shamed by the thirsty bitch accusation.
Why don't we have more followers?
It's a compliment.
Yeah. Don't we?
Because there are no tits. Because there are no
Well,
tits.
Those are only in the pre-show.
Will and I are both. Oh, these old things.
If we need, listen, we'll do what we need to do for the show.
tits.
As I cover my 34 Bs.
Trevor, next episode,
Episode 7.
please.
Next time in the animated
episode,
series.
please. Everyone,
Episode
hush.
Episode 7, the Infinite Vulcan. Kirk is faced with a race of intelligent plants developed by a mad scientist.
I liked this one because it confirms that he cheated on the Kobayashi Maru. I don't like puzzles. That's why you fucking cheated. You fucking cheated. It's
She's not wrong.
confirmation.
Yes, right.
Thumbs?
Damn right.
That's all we have to say.
Sideways. Sideways. There we
That's
go.
the sideway.
Because you take issue with the cheating. That's fine.
No,
I,
I take issue with the plant dragons. Although I do like the mind meld with the one finger.
Never mind.
I say I've had a few
Episode-
mind melds with one finger. Anyway, next episode.
Yeah.
He got fingered.
Okay.
Bum.
Problematic gay alert.
Here's the thing: Spock is always fingering himself. That's what I don't.
You thirsty bitch.
In the arms of the angel.
Well, fingers are really important to Vulcans, right? So,
I'm sure
If
they
you can't finger yourself, how are you going to finger anyone else?
Mhm.
That's
right.
That's what
Exactly.
RuPaul said.
Can I get an amen?
It's
exactly.
Amen.
You can't finger yourself. How are you gonna finger anybody else? Amen.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Just get
Wow.
that.
What's
the clip
going
just
on with-
be Ken saying it?
Ken
That was
agrees.
great. Okay.
Yeah.
Uncomfortable.
Episode 8. The magics of
Wow. It's gonna go on forever.
the magic
Mega
of the devil. The magic of
We're making good time. Stop interrupting him.
the magic of is Magastu, right? Am I saying it right?
Megas 2.
Vegas 2? I forgot. All right.
Megalopolis.
At the center of the galaxy, the Enterprise discovers a race of powerful aliens. Again, didn't write it, not responsible for it.
That's another thing. It wasn't memorable,
You did
but
too,
also the animated series, that fucking ship could be at the edge of the galaxy, the middle of the galaxy, and anywhere else in 5 minutes.
Yeah, Star Trek 5.
What in the Picard season 3 nonsense is this?
It is
This
Picard
nonsense
season
started.
3.
This nonsense started way before Picard season 3.
For
It started-
sure.
And I'm sorry, Star Trek 5.
100%. We're at the Great Barrier in the center of the galaxy, but also the barrier is around the galaxy.
Also,
But
there's no
also-
barrier in either place.
But also, what happened in this episode? I truly cannot remember, and I just
They
watched this show.
defended
For
The
the
devil.
They
Oh, the
defended-
You don't
devil.
remember the devil?
Dude. Yeah.
This is the one I
They
talked about.
showed compassion to Lucifer.
This is
That
the
was
one that I thought, like in a 2024 sense, if this show were on today, like it would be different because it's streaming. But well, people are being bitchy about Agatha being naked in the first episode for a hot second because that in the scene a child sees her, but of course that child actor did not see a naked woman on set. It's a whatever. The idea that like the devil is just like a fun little prankster is hilarious to me because I don't personally believe in the devil. I can only imagine with as polarized as our country is right now, like the Marjorie Taylor Greenes being like, and this new Star Trek, and they're controlling the weather, and they're telling you that the devil is just a fun little prankster. And that's why
mean-
I'm giving it a thumbs up.
I think this
Like that
episode
they
didn't
showed
air
the,
in some of the southern states.
I like that they showed the it was an interesting choice to have Lucifer, Satan, whatever you want to call him, be sort of a Dionysus party guy. Let's just party, and have the Puritan Salem witch trials dude.
Hello, friends.
Yeah, act as though he was an all-knowing, all powerful being. I thought that was an interesting nod towards
Now,
religion.
don't tell anybody that you're here.
Did
I
anybody
just thought he
get
was a
sort of-
happy scimitar.
I thought he was like
I was
gay.
like, I would hang with him.
He's like a gay guy hiding boys in his room late at night. Like, don't tell my dad that you were over sucking our dicks.
He's a, Fur-
That's
he's a bit
That's
of a
not quite what I
Furby.
got. But
Thumbs up to Furbies.
did anybody get semblances of Q out of this character?
Say that again.
Does this character remind you in some respects of Q?
Well, there's about 9 characters in TOS in this that are reminiscent of Q. So, like, yeah, but
I mean, like
there's
Q
like
with abs.
Trelane and yeah, Q with abs.
And hooves.
Yeah, Q on GHB. Yeah,
Call me Lucian. And hey, do you want to try ketamine?
Right.
Will,
You guys want to go to the Kylie Minogue concert and do G? Yeah.
Yes. Let's just dance. Let's just fuck guys. Let's just dance tonight. Will, what's the thing that you want to say and nobody can get mad?
No, you showed the picture. I was just saying that it's kind of hot.
Oh,
Sorry.
You're not wrong.
Can I say something and no one get mad? Can I say something? Yeah.
Oh, this is actually a good example. I cannot stand it when somebody's like, "Hey, can I say something?" and it's an objectively attractive man. This fits the prompt. Because yeah, I get why people sin. I get why people sin.
I get it. He has no nipples, but yeah.
Yeah. You can use mine.
I'm into that. Anyway. This is a thumbs down.
Nobody yet.
Problematic gay alert.
I would have
one.
appreciated a posterior view myself.
If he ain't got he's got
Thirsty
nipples.
bitch.
In the arms of the angel.
Thumbs.
But, he,
Let me see if
Departure
I-
angle on viewer.
but he's a goat from the waist down, so it's like a little goat butt. There's like a little tail and just like a little pink
A
beehole
Mr.
on him.
Tumnus.
Yeah.
I would argue that goats are well hung.
Okay. Well,
I don't need to know that.
listen,
Thank you so much.
Krista, what you do in Louisiana is your own business.
I don't know if that's is that a well
It
actually?
only happens
in your
Here's my dog.
in your West Wing
Oh, shut
with
the
your
fuck up.
goats. In the goat wing,
I'm gonna
The
count
goat
that.
wing.
I think it was a well actually, but it was also problematic. Anyway,
the Satanist
Episode-
goat.
everybody shut up. I love you. Episode 9. Once Upon a Planet. Kirk returns to an amusement park planet for shore leave, hoping for some rest and relaxation, but finds it's not as peaceful as in the past.
Boo.
I just thought Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. It's like, don't think of anything. I'm sorry. I thought of the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man.
Also, don't tell me not to think of anything, because then I'm
No,
immediately going to think of things.
Anything. You know what? My one serious issue with this one is having a Huru say the word.
Try that again.
Who's a Huru?
Yeah.
Who did I say?
A
You said
Huru.
a Huru.
Ahura. Is that what I said?
There you go.
That's not what
Yeah.
I said. All right.
You
Y'all,
somehow
I've
merged.
had
You
some
merged
drinks,
Sulu
you
and
made
Uhura.
me watch this fucking series. Ahura. Ahuru.
This is a Star
Ahura.
Trek podcast, Krista. You know that, right?
I do like the idea of an
And I know
Uhura
that you're the last
Cthulhu.
person that should be talking to me about this with your fucking
Oh.
the witch.
Oh my god! Oh my god!
I love it when mom and dad argue.
They're gonna
I know
pull
you
this
are
car over.
Not talking to me.
We're
No,
gonna pull this car over.
Here's my serious issue with this. I did not like Ahura having to say master over and over again.
Yeah.
That was my
Yeah, that was the problem.
really didn't like that. And I really didn't
Mhm.
like the idea. And this is the first episode that happened. There's another episode later
Yep.
where there's a variation on it. So this first episode, I thought, okay, she's in chains and she's saying master. Maybe we're going BDSM. Maybe there's a whole sexual undercurrent here that they're trying. Like I was willing to give them a pass. I am no longer willing to give the pass because episodes later they do the same fucking thing, and it's not.
But
Cool.
once again, this show was way hornier than it was supposed to be.
So obviously, this was a sequel to Shore Leave. Go ahead, Mark. That is one of my things.
Here we go. Here we go. But
so-
actually,
Down there.
So
That's
as a sequel to Shore Leave, I thought it was pretty well done with the idea of the caretaker having died and the computer system going, haywire and doing what it thought it was going to do. The other thing that I thought was interesting is that here we see a reference to Amanda Grayson liking Alice in Wonderland, which they carried forward into Star Trek Discovery, which I thought was kind of cool. So, yes, that's my comments on this episode.
Thumbs.
You're not wrong. Thumbs.
Sideways.
I will say it's weird that Starfleet has shore leave planets. It's weird. Oh, we're gonna make this a weird sex park for our like officers. It's fucking weird.
I don't
Again,
think it
Ooh,
was one of those
Disneyland,
parts
but
of the world.
It was
weird
like-
things happen. It's like,
It was a weird, like, thought manifesting place. Like, as soon as
but
you
the original Shirley was like that too. It's like, this is weird. Like, y'all just put them on Riser where they just fuck on the beach. Like, Jesus,
you.
like this
Thank
weird thought thing. Like, maybe this is why they have holodecks. I don't want to get into
Go
headcanon,
to the
but maybe they're like,
restaurant.
we could make a weird planet with this, and some fucking pervert admirals like, yes, manifestation planet. It's fucking
we'll
weird.
go to the rec
Anyway.
room. It's
I'd
the
like to
rec
know that
room.
despite
It's
his
not a
objection,
holiday.
that was headcanon on the part of Will.
I was riffing, you bitch.
it was headcanon.
Big
You
difference.
bitch.
Episode 10.
No.
You goddamn bitch.
Episode 10. We only have 34 more to go.
It
Guys,
feels
we're
like
we're not quite halfway there, so buckle up. Episode 10, Mud's Passion. Space con artist Harry Mudd returns selling a fake love potion. Also, I would like for my title to be changed to Space Con Artist.
yeah. I
From the planet
hated
Motherlode.
this episode. I hated it. I hated what they did with Chapel. It was a continuation of the original series, just making her for laughs. I hated it. I did love that she got to shoot at him, but like justice for Nurse Chapel, which I guess we're kind of getting on Strange New Worlds, but yeah. Joel is right. He's like, that's a mess. That is a mess of an episode. It is trash.
So you break,
Can defend it.
you just break the crystal
Well, I can't.
and you
I
rub
can't really-
the liquid on yourself, and then you touch another person.
I suppose I could take it to
I,
experiment
I
to run a test.
I will point out that crystal is fucking homophobic too, because they point out explicitly this only works
Yes.
on
Yes. Yes.
heterosexual
Heteros.
pairings. So it was like, so Mud's like, oh,
Yeah.
this isn't for the faggots. Like, how dare you?
Yep.
Oh, they go
Like-
even further. They say if a man does it and then he touches a woman, they're just friends. If a woman does it and touches a man, it's let's get down to fucking.
They
Yeah.
fucking, yeah, they fucking.
Okay,
Yeah.
but you have to admit that
Don't do it, Ken.
God, Ken.
the
Ken!
scene where Spock and
For
McCoy have their
fuck's sake.
Spock and Kirk have their arms around each other is pretty good.
Oh, Jesus fucking Christ.
Jesus
Fair.
fucking Christ! Back to you, Krista. Go ahead.
I would-
say it.
I want to
what
say,
you
I want to say
need
something.
yes,
Can I say,
stupid.
can I say something and no one else get kind of mad?
Right.
No
What?
problem.
Why is the animated Spock kind of hot?
Yeah.
He's kind of hot.
I'm not mad.
He's kind of hot. I'm gonna say it.
What's
They
different about
they spend a little extra time on hot. He's kind of hot.
And she falls
was-
in
it
his
was-
lap.
It was
She
Strange New World.
falls in his lap.
Yeah, she falls in his lap. You don't
That's
think
like-
they
And
carry this through
this
with
is for
Strange New
children
Worlds?
too.
Somebody
But
As would I.
falling into- I didn't.
my
I didn't-
hands keep.
I didn't mean
floating
to sleep
hand.
with her. I just fell into her vagina.
I mean, look at how
I've
they-
never fallen in. I've fallen out of one, but I've never fallen into one.
Look at how they look at each other.
It's the only way it's
Not
ever happened for me.
No, they're always looking at each other. Look at the two of them. So much chemistry.
Gay.
They're fucking gay.
Back to
There's
Oh, yeah.
Problematic gay alert.
All right, we got to move this along. Thumbs.
Best
Chop.
line of the entire episode was that is an outstandingly stupid idea.
You're giving this one a thumbs up, Krista. That's
I
interesting.
am. I'm giving it a thumbs up because of that is an outstandingly stupid idea.
It's a great
Which
line.
is my headcanon that the people that wrote it went, this is an outstandingly stupid idea. Let's
Episode,
do
yeah.
it.
It was
Let's-
good
All
to
right,
have Robert
Trevor,
Carmel back
next
as Mud.
episode.
episode 11. I'm going to speak clearly and succinctly. Episode 11, the Territon incident. After being bathed with radiation, the Enterprise crew starts shrinking.
With fireworks radiation.
The one with Lilliputians.
We can't control our shrinkage.
Yeah. Yep.
It was a fun episode. I'll give it a thumbs up.
It was an interesting episode, yes.
And broke me.
I liked the phrase "a pocket
Oh.
in the garment of time."
Krista, I need your thumb.
That's
To,
good.
you're
Oh,
a tiebreaker. I need your thumb.
I'm sorry,
sideways,
I'm going
okay.
sideways.
No, you're good. Episode 12, The Time Trap. The Enterprise's crew must join forces with the pink Klingons to try to escape from a pocket universe.
There's a bomb on the Enterprise.
Oh my god.
I can't.
I can't
But I
either.
think we figured out how we figured out how Stan's going to show up to SDLV now.
Yes, I had trouble
You
deciding
should, absolutely.
between this bitch and the green bitch in a bikini for some reason. Like, what? That I actually this episode is one that like there's a kernel of good, like the story is interesting. It was reminiscent for me of the Voyager episode where they fall into that pocket universe or whatever and have to form a mini federation to be able to get out. This I thought was there's also like this was the first of I think 3 or 4 episodes where there was like a high council that they end up being brought in front of. But yeah, the creepy ass voices. It's like I swear to God, the director was just like, "Listen, ladies, we get you get $50 and a Lipton tea for this. Just go full creep
It was
and get out."
It was all Nichelle Nichols and James Doohan. Like they were just like they phoned it in like no one else. Like it's like the same kind of voices for all of them. It was the voice acting on this one was especially egregious. Like it was pretty bad.
Like Maress, I can't remember in particular episodes that Maress was on, but Majel purring was so bad. Like I love her, but like the purring was so bad, and like I swear to God, this I have something to say. Like, why are you talking like that? What's wrong with you? It's fun to emulate for this bullshit, but good God, I was like, speed it up, lady. They got to get out of this void. Thumbs.
My problem. Another thing is here they had a character they brought back, but not
share your thumb when you're sharing your thoughts.
It's a sideways.
We got to speed this up. We're in a time trap right now. All right, Ken, finish your thought.
Right now. I was saying that you brought back Core, but you didn't bring back the actor for whatever reason, John Colicos. And why do that? Why just have a different character if you're not going to bring the actor back? But anyway,
Klingon voice.
Ran out of Harry Potter voices.
We're gonna destroy the Enterprise.
Episode 13, The Ambergris Element. Kirk and Spock are transformed into water breathers while exploring the planet Argo. Again, I didn't write this.
This was another one that like super fun idea. It was like, oh, this is interesting. I do wonder watching TAS. I do wonder if future Trek was like, oh, there's a nugget of an idea. Like they all blend together because there are so many fucking young Spock figuring himself out episodes in Strange New Worlds, but the one where those aliens didn't put him back together properly and made him fully human and exist in another way.
Aliens.
Sure. That was reminiscent of that, but we got the submersible shuttle, so there's fun stuff here. I'm gonna give this one a thumbs up.
I'm sad Jillian wasn't available.
This is a waterlogged episode. Thumbs up. I love the design of the Aqua Shuttle. I thought that was cool.
This is a good example of them being like, we couldn't have done this in the original series, and we can do it here. We're gonna do a whole episode underwater. Like it was like we didn't need to do all that.
And the swimming animation was so bad, but fun.
Bad. Well,
it was Aquaman. Literally.
Episode 14, The Slaver Weapon. Spock, Sulu, and Uhura are taken captive by the Zinti, who are trying to learn the secret of an ancient weapon.
weird moments. Lots of weird moments in this one. You're forgetting, Lieutenant. Zinti women are dumb animals.
Oh,
Excuse me, Spock? Excuse me? How dare you?
neurotics and
Yes.
pacifistic herbivores. And it's at
They're-
this point
yeah.
where I say, what group of people are you not trying to offend?
Right.
Yes, exactly.
You're going to make me read the mind of a vegetable eater? Ew.
Blah.
Remember to zigzag, and then they don't. They don't zigzag at all.
They make Uhura get captured twice in this episode, at least.
She has to keep saying the word slave and slaver.
This is the only good part of this episode, is that it had 0 Kirk in it.
And no Enterprise either.
Mm-hmm.
I do like how all of the Zinti look like they're just overworked and tired. Like they're
Yeah.
animated to be like,
They're middle
like
management.
I did think that was funny. Their little pink suits,
Yes.
more
And
gay
Lower
cat
Decks played on that,
aliens.
of course.
Yeah,
They're just-
I thought this one was like, it's interesting. Like there's some interesting concepts while problematic. Like I don't know. I don't know whether the wine kicked in or the edible kicked in while watching this episode, but I was like, this was fun. It was stupid, but I was like, yay, pink cat alien.
All right, let's see
They were
those
like
thumbs
middle
then.
management trying to problem solve.
Do it. Thumbs up.
We're everywhere.
Krista,
on
where's
this
your
one.
thumb, girl?
I am I'm in trouble. Right about now is when my notes stop.
Oh God.
Stan, what was yours?
Sideways.
Okay. That is the sideways.
We got a down and an up in the audience chat.
Another
Episode-
cool shuttlecraft design in this one too.
Mhm.
15. The Eye of the Beholder. While searching for a lost ship, Kirk, Spock, and McCoy are taken captive by advanced telepathic aliens and put into a zoo. I mean, that's pretty accurate, but it sounds ridiculous.
I'm kind
Yeah.
of angry that Troy couldn't do any of this telepathic stuff. That would have been
Like
helpful.
Shiver when she's doing telepathy.
Sure. You shimmy,
Shiver.
Tell-
She's starting
shimmy.
to shiver. She's starting to
shimmy,
shimmy.
shiver,
Surely you can't be serious.
convulse,
I am serious, and
seize.
don't call me.
This episode was trite and you reused plot lines from other episodes and was dumb. Boo.
Hated
Will
it.
with the last word.
Okay, I have thoughts about episode 16, The Jihad.
Mm.
Kirk leads a group trying to recover stolen religious artifact. What's up with what is up with the horny lady that they sent with him? Like
Yes.
she's
Mhm.
On my
Like,
planet,
like-
when we find someone attractive, we say it, and I think you're attractive, Kirk.
no, she doesn't even say it. She's like, and I'm saying it. And
I'm
she said she's like a cross between like a Flintstone and a 50s madam. Like it's very
Yeah.
confusing. I don't know exactly what's happening.
The only way it could have been better is if they gave her Mid-Atlantic. And like that,
Yes.
that like Katharine Hepburn, like on my planet, we say it when we find a man attractive, and I'm saying it.
Do you want me to do
Or-
it?
Or if she smoked.
On my planet. Yeah.
Yeah.
Throw it in the Catherine Hepburn. When I find someone attractive, I say it.
And I'm
Land
saying
the
it.
ship.
And I do 50
You land the
squats
ship
a
in me.
day.
Yeah.
I have
Land
a
the
firm-
ship here.
I have
My
a
own
firm
boss.
constitution, Kirk, and you could beat this.
There's also something sort of uncomfortable about an animated Kirk with Shatner's voice doing like mildly horny. I couldn't wrap my head around it. I
It
can't
wasn't
wrap
this exactly,
my
but
head
it,
around Shatner being horny at all. So
it was the TAS version of Another Time, perhaps. I forget exactly how he said it, but he was like, listen, not right now, but yes.
No, he straight up said another time. Like he just didn't say the perhaps.
Yeah.
It was weird.
Yeah,
So
she
who
was
knows?
all
Who
about
knows?
getting busy and not taking care of business.
Yeah.
And I think
Thumbs.
I think I figured out why. I think the 70s decided to be progressive for Star Trek by making a woman have a great sense of direction, and then they decided to fuck it up by making her horny for every man that walked past her.
There you go. Could be.
And her eyebrows.
Well, I don't know what was
What if
happening
the
there.
woman was the aggressor? Ooh.
Yeah, but
Say
she
more.
has to be an aggressor in like a feline way. It's weird. It's a weird way of, why must she be it's like pre-cougar.
You're not wrong.
Anyway, thumbs down.
Season 2, episode 1, The Pirates of Orion. After Spock is stricken with Whack.
Orion.
I'm refusing. It's a protest pronunciation.
It's Orion.
It's a protest pronunciation. After Spock is stricken with a deadly disease, O-word pirates attack the freighter carrying the only cure and steal it.
It was weird that they kept saying Orion. Like, why? It
refuse.
felt like, listen, I love her to death, but it felt like Kate Mulgrew doing the audio for the Catherine Janeway autobiography saying the Kazan. There was another one too. It's like, who was in that booth with her? Not a Star Trek fan. It was like, oh, actually, Catherine, I know it's been a minute, but it's actually pronounced Kazan. Or maybe somebody did, and she slapped him silly, and it was like, it's Kazan now.
Quiet, you booth man! It's Kazan now. I've never said Kazan.
It's Orion.
They started to
It's
correct her.
Orion.
That's
And then
how
she-
they got data instead of data.
She stared at them like she visually scolded Laurie Ulster. Laurie Ulster asked her if she needed to be the lead of a new series. Did you hear that interview?
No.
It was so awkward. She asks Laurie Ulster asks her, and would you need to be the lead to return? And there's just like total silence. Where apparently Mulgrew was just like,
because I was the lead of the last ones. Yeah.
When
what?
we get
Like,
Lori on, we have to ask her about that moment.
Oh yeah.
it recovers nicely. It recovers nicely. Go listen to the interview on Trek Movie. But yeah, it's hilarious. It's a hilarious like 2 seconds of silence.
My favorite Trek Movie interview is with Terry Metalis when Anthony Pascal straight up says that was kind of a stupid plan on the part of the Changelings and the Borg. So how did you go about he massaged it into a really good question. They were like, hey, this is a stupid idea. How did you go about making it work? And I will never the way that I gasped with Terry's answer being like, well, I don't know that it was a stupid plan, and then he cannot handle it, and it is so funny. I love that moment. I'm gay. I live for the drama. What episode are we talking about?
The Pirates of O-word.
Orion.
Oh yeah. Blech.
Pirates of Orion. All right, thumbs down. Moving on.
Season.
Live long.
Thank you, Cookie Monster. Episode 2, Bem. A reckless observer bothers Kirk and Spock while they're on a planetary scouting mission.
I see why Lower Decks pulled a character for the this one. Like I understand it at times, but I get frustrated with episodes that are predicated on like the plot relies on Starfleet being stupid, like Picard season 3. And in this one, like, I'm sorry, you've had this guy on the ship for 6 missions. He's just stayed in his quarters, no flags, no red flags there. And then you walk into the transporter room on this dangerous mission, and he's already been beep beep boop 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 booping on the console. And you're like, no, this mission might be dangerous. He's like, no, this is the one I want to be on. And you're like, cool, fine, whatever. What?
Whatever.
See, that was a better description than what Google wrote. Mostly for the beep beep boop.
Sideways.
I'm only giving it a sideways because I think this is the first time we heard that Kirk's middle name is Tiberius, right?
Oh, fair enough. Yeah.
No,
Adding to the lore.
It's a little stupid, but I'll give it a sideways.
Lore's not there.
Oh, that counts. That's your third. Well, actually, no more. Season 2, episode 3, The Practical Joker. Kirk is.
Uh-oh.
Oh no.
See,
Oh,
the
no.
practical Joker strikes.
We have a
Strike.
freezing moment. That's actually excellent timing.
Am I back?
You're back.
Are you? The
It's
practical
back.
Joker struck, and now you are back. You
Okay,
just barely started the episode synopsis when you froze.
After the Enterprise passes through an unusual cloud, not to be confused with the usual clouds, the computer develops a playful but
Space.
potentially lethal personality. Kirk is a jerk.
This is the one with the awesome blow-up toy Enterprise. I love it.
I don't want to know about your blow-up toys, Ken.
I thought the practical jokes were kind of this is the first one that actually would have worked for kids.
Hmm.
Like, kids would have gotten this one.
Yes.
That's all
It
I
only
remember.
It only took them 20 episodes to get there.
The Enterprise is suffering the electronic equivalent of a nervous breakdown.
It's
Yeah.
also not horny, which is unusual for this series.
Yeah.
That's true. The
And
ship
for
is always
that, it's a
horny.
thumbs down. If it was a horny practical Joker,
Yeah, that's true.
I'd be putting my thumbs up and in things.
Look. Although this is the meme, Kirk is a jerk. That should give it a thumb sideways, to be honest.
Kirk is a jerk was
Kirk is a jerk.
this is a shirt I would
It's
wear.
true.
And
Season
it's
2,
it's the first holodeck.
Season 2, episode 4, Albatross. Dr. McCoy is charged with causing a plague that ravaged the planet Dramia 2, where he performed a mass inoculation 19 years earlier. Dun, dun, dun.
Backstory. I like that we got a little bit of McCoy history. So like I'm gonna give it a sideways.
Sideways.
Those pesky
Sideways.
auroras.
Which, for those of you unfamiliar, is a gay sideways.
One sideways.
Listen
What
here.
bandana color do I need to wear for sideways?
Don't be so happy. Season 2, episode 5, How Sharper Than a Serpent's Tooth. The Enterprise crew encounters an alien who visited ancient Earth and became known as the Mayan god. I'm not going to attempt to say it. A Mayan god.
Kukulkan.
Yeah, exactly.
I found myself finding this episode fun, but then I was like, well, wait a minute. This ties into a real culture that was on Earth. And I don't know if it's problematic or not. Like, how accurate? Did these writers do any real research? Is it another Chakotay issue? So I struggle with this episode, and for that reason, I'm giving it a I am giving it a sideways with the precursor that I can change it to a thumbs down if I learn later that it's even more problematic than it potentially is on
So
this
this is-
first watch.
This is the episode that was submitted to the Academy and won this animated series the Emmy Award.
Yikes.
The first Emmy for Star Trek, too, by the way.
The first Star Trek, yeah.
The first Emmy at the time.
The dragon, that was more like a kind of a paper mache parade.
For the Emmy, I'm giving it a sideways. What's everybody else think?
It's a sideways.
Y'all, we're coming to it.
Like
We're coming
really-
to it. Trevor, bring us home.
Episode 2, season.
No.
No.
Take
Oh.
2.
Take two.
No.
Season 2, episode 6. In fairness, the purple things are back, and I've had several.
Ooh, the purple things.
It's seasonal.
Everyone
It's a
focus
long
on
story.
Trevor.
We
Season
believe in
season
you.
two,
We
episode
believe in
6.
you.
The counterclock incident. After the crew is dragged into a universe where time runs backwards, their only hope becomes Commodore Robert April, the Enterprise's first commander.
Meanwhile,
The Hall of Justice.
he's looking very pale, but handsome as ever.
Gentleman and Wonder Woman.
This was
I thought
fun.
this was a good episode. I like this episode.
Oh,
Star Trek
that's right. Yeah,
babies.
no, I'm looking at my note on this one. I like this one. So this is a thumbs up. But yeah, this one was
Star Trek
fun.
babies.
I liked it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thumbs, please.
I liked it because it was the last one.
This was better than Rascals.
Fair point. Very, very that's a fair point, Krista.
It's very this. I was like, oh, we got to wrap this up.
Yeah.
Final thoughts on the animated series. What did you all think of the animated series?
So
I'm telling you my
Believe in
thoughts.
magic. Believe in magic, Captain.
My mind.
if
to your
if
mind.
anybody has a chance to find, and they're hard to find, the Star Trek log books by Alan Dean Foster, where he wrote novelizations of these and did an amazing job and expanded these animated episodes quite a bit. And Alan Dean Foster, of course, went on to write the screenplay for Star Trek: The Motion Picture and has done a ton of stuff. That's an interesting sort of spin-off of this animated series, is those series of log books, which is kind of the James Blish books, but for the animated series. Anyway, just thought I'd mention that. They're kind of cool.
I love your dedication, Ken.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Well, friends, that brings us to the end of the animated series. Thank you for being here. Some announcements. I won't do it in this voice. No, I will
Thank
do
God.
it in this voice.
God,
Don't do it in the voice.
I'll do it in the voice, but I'll do it
God.
later.
My ass is twitching.
We're protesting.
My sphincter does twitch.
Why can I never hear
Now we're
that
back to
from
Bewitched
man?
again. See?
I can never hear that from man.
Sorry.
That's how Krista would do it.
Yeah, she would clench her butt cheeks and then cast.
I would. I've got some powerful butt cheeks. Don't
Anyway,
don't try me.
a couple of quick announcements before we get the tally from Trevor. Want to remind folks that we now have a fun website, salontrek.com, fun clips, different ways to support us, places to find us, including Spotify, which we are now on. Would super appreciate folks here on YouTube, on Spotify, and our social media links. Follow us in all the places. It helps get this unhinged nonsense out to the masses. We are now in the triple digits of subscribers, and let's start begging to get us into the quadruple digits. I also want to highlight that we have a Patreon. Several of our supporters are in the chat, and we super appreciate you. On the Patreon, there are 3 levels of support, including a free level where you can participate in polls, and we're going to have some other fun community building things going on in the next couple of months. But right now, our October bonus content poll is up. And for our $5 supporters, you get to see that bonus content and this fun little nonsense. For just $5 supporting us, covering our costs, you get to see the Uniclitoris, followed by our commentary on an episode that you all vote on. We've done Devil's Due, which was super fun. The poll is up now for, I think, another week, and then we'll be recording our October commentary on either the motion picture, Darmok, Ken's favorite episode from the original series, called what, Ken? Remind me.
Gosh, I don't remember. I've drank too much. What is
I
my
think
favorite episode of the
the
series?
the time travel one, right? Where
Tomorrow's Yesterday. Tomorrow's Yesterday. That's a great episode. Yes.
You know what? Everybody go to Patreon to find out. You can
Right.
join
Yeah.
for free. If you can, give us a few dollars to help defray costs of the salon. It's super appreciated. Lots of fun nonsense happening. Trevor, speaking of fun nonsense, give us the
My middle name.
tallies.
It's my middle name. So the animated series, Star Trek the animated series, there were 5 thumbs ups. Good job, folks. There were 8
Wow.
thumbs sideways and 9 thumbs downs. So more average and above average than below, but yeah, thumbs down kind of won the game. There was 1 tosser alert, which is shocking. 1 cannon alert, 5 problematic gay alerts, 3 problematic ally alerts. Will landed the ship once, and Ken used all 3 of his well actuallys.
Well,
250.
actually, did I?
Yes.
There were 256 bonus points to Joanne for summer body commentary in the comments. Ken lost 12,000 bonus points for not knowing what show he's on. Krista picked up those 12,000 bonus points and ran with them with anti-AI realness. Will got 500 bonus points for showing up to Salon for the first time without his mustache.
Oh yeah.
There
We
he
are-
is.
This is the
we are-
second time. No, he didn't have one the last time.
That was on the bonus episode.
Oh, never mind.
Very different. You have to pay $5 for
Come to
that.
the Patreon to see me
You gotta-
without the mustache. I should have a fake one to wear for the Patreon now. Never mind.
You gotta
Continue.
pay for that shit. And last but not least, an additional 150 bonus points to Krista for the long lost return of her Jennifer Coolidge impression. It was
She's
sorely
my
missed.
hero. I love
It is
her.
welcomed back.
I love her.
That's it.
All right,
That's-
y'all.
so, get us out of here.
Super fun. Join us next week. We will be talking about Star Trek Lower Decks. We've got 2 weeks before the 5th and sadly final season is with us. So next week we're going to be talking about the first 4 seasons. It's going to be a fun time. I'm super excited to see more of this great show. So please join us, follow us in all the places so that you can get those reminders, and we will see you next week. Until then, everyone, please live long and prosper, and live long and prosper.
All hands abandon ship. Proceed to the nearest evacuation zone immediately.